And we are live.
Oh boy.
And Facebook has already deleted us and we didn't do a fucking thing wrong.
Really? Really?
Yeah, but only on the promotions page for whatever reason.
We haven't. We were able to survive House of Bob
for 20 minutes.
Yeah, for 20 minutes. And this show already, not even like a second in. And
Guess who's back?
Oh, yeah, look at that. We didn't even get to do anything exciting, and Facebook is already kicking us off. Oh, my goodness.
Good morning, Daphne.
Good morning. Happy Halloween.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Happy Halloween. And good morning, everyone. Right. It is October 31st,
if you haven't
2022.
Noticed. Yeah.
And this
I gotta keep my shades closed today. I'm not the house you come to for Halloween.
Oh, I have 4 kids and I'm not either. I'm already thinking about blacking out the curtains. All I'm doing is roasting seeds, watching gory movies, and buying my kids candy. And they're mad because they're not going trick-or-treating, but they're too damn old and the neighborhood's too damn dangerous. So anyway.
You go. Yeah.
Okay, you people ready for this?
Yeah. Hit it.
All right. The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or Ragin 2 Promotion.
Oh, hello there. You just caught me in the middle of making a drink. While I'm doing that, here's a disembodied voice that'll talk to you about what this commercial is about.
Thanks, sellout me. Shots with Comics is a podcast with artists and writers Chad Perkins, Kit Bonitis Jaspering, and Blake Matthias. They'll give you a brutally honest review of the comics they are reading. Do they love it? Do they hate it? They'll tell you while drinking their traumas away. If this sounds terrible, then join us at Monday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Indie Comics Podcast Network for this aggressive comedy review show and sellout commercial.
Hi, I am Joe D. McPhee. I am the host of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, and I want to cordially invite you to watch our show Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. On our show, we will have different guests as well as talk about the comic book industry and pop culture. And every so often, I might actually do a drawing session or a 3D rendering session every here and there. So once again, I want to invite you to watch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher right here on the broadcast channel that you're looking at, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Hope to see you there, and make certain that you catch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks.
Woo! Tina and Rodney get us all hyped up, and Jody brings us back down.
Yeah, well, but down in a good way.
No, I meant that in the mellow,
jazz kind of way. It's like sponsored by viewers like you. That type of thing. So hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Ragin 2 the Vlogs show with your hosts, us. So There we go. That's the intro for today. Happy Halloween, everybody. So before we get started, who's joining us in the chat today?
Jody is the only one who has identified himself so far this morning.
Mystery viewers, well, welcome, Jody, and welcome, mystery person. And also, speaking of mystery people, I see you. Well, the two of you right now watching us from regions beyond. You know, it's like if you're joining us from Facebook or if you're joining us from Twitter, come on over to Facebook. Join the sexy people in the chat.
YouTube.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did I say Facebook? YouTube.
It's okay.
It's Monday. And the thing is though, it's the Monday on a weekend where we literally did like a vlog every single day for the last 4 days.
Did we?
Yeah, Friday, Saturday. Did we do one on Sunday? And then today.
Oh, yeah. We should. Yeah. Damn, we've been busy bitches.
Yeah, I'm a little off. So join us here on YouTube. And join Sexy Joe D in the chat.
It's Sexy JS405.
Oh, there you go. Hey, Joe. And while you're here on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe and all, press all the buttons and hit that notification bell. You know the whole thing. But you know what? I still have my intro to do. So let's do that then. Now that we kind of have.
I'm gonna grab a costume.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
so go ahead. So hello, everybody. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992 because I don't know any better. And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales and my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which launches next Monday already. Holy crap. Issue 5, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn. I'm just sending out the last of the volume 1 campaign boxes out today, just in time to launch issue 5. So make sure you hit all the links in the show notes below and hit the notify me button so you get notified. You get that email from Kickstarter the second it goes live on Monday. And yes, we are doing a launch party. Yay. So the party. Yes. In the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. You can check out all my videos on how I make my comics on YouTube at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which, like I said, also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So come on over to YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, hit the likes, hit the shares, hit the notification bell.
Touch all the buttons. Touch them all.
So that you get notified whenever any of our shows go live. And also, just to kind of put it out there, okay, because we're kind of having a weird thing going on. If you really enjoy our content and you really, really want to support us, indiecomicsnetwork.com or come to the Indie Comics Network YouTube channel. These are the only places where we are running our shows
all the time. They cut us off, or we know that they won't take the content, so we pull it anyway.
Right, exactly. And also the thing is too, like I said, we're having a little odd situation with somebody actually mirroring our channel on their website, and we're not cool with that. Nope. So like I said, if you really enjoy our stuff and you want to support us and you want to make sure that the algorithm knows that you like our stuff, YouTube, Indie Comics Network. Like I said, you could go to indiecomicsnetwork.com. It's that easy. Come on over, and then it's like whatever you click on our videos or whatnot, that we will get the credit.
We get that love.
View. Yeah, that we get the credit for the views, we get the credit for the watch hours, and we get the credit for like anything else that you click on that on the site. So just wanted to put that out there. And so take it away, Nita.
Good morning. My name is Nita. I'm here.
Well, there you go. And
shit.
Right.
Right. Shit, whatever. I have a squeaky chair that needs to be oiled.
Well, that's it. Yeah, mine's okay. Mine's okay. It's like the only thing that bothers me is the wheels on the carpet, but I just got to get used to that. you know. Oh, exciting news.
Oh.
Jose caught the rat last night.
Yes.
I had a rat. I've been chasing this rat. I swear to God, like Dick Dastardly, you know? It's like, except instead of a pigeon, I was chasing this rat for the past 2 weeks. And Jose finally caught it last night. So it went outside. You know, like I said, the rats in this house have two ways. They can either go out in a cage or they can die in the walls, because this one decided to go outside. So that's where it went.
That's a good choice.
Good riddance. Good riddance. So hopefully another one won't take its place. But there was, this particular one was a cheeky thing. So
that's the one that had the balls to just like walk up to you in the office, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm working and it just like came up right over here, just chilling, and it's like, oh no, what are you doing? No.
You don't belong here.
No, absolutely not. If you're not paying rent, you don't belong here. So that's my big news. But also the thing is, in more serious matters though, I want to thank everybody who joined us on Saturday for House of Bob. For those of you who don't know, House of Bob is an adults-only live stream that me and Nita do, where we showcase actual adult art and adult conversations that would get us into trouble.
Furry adult art.
Oh, very specific. Yeah.
Yes,
exactly. House of Bob is my furry porn showcase. So for obvious reasons, we cannot do House of Bob, on the regular, channel. It is an adults only stream. You have to age verify to be able to watch it. But it's like we had a really good stream on Saturday. We had a really good turnout. Thank you everybody for coming out and helping me color in a piece. I swear there's a lot of decisions that I would have never have made on my own, that the chat was they're very creative people. So this piece is coming out really, really well that I'm working on. And hopefully by the next show, I'll be able to show off the final result of our communal artistic powwow, I guess. I don't know. That's probably not the word I should be using. Right. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was like for the past 2 weeks. I swear to God. And also I want to thank everybody who showed up on Talking Comics on a Sunday with JD Calderon when me and Nita kind of took over the show a little bit because Jose was late coming from work. So we had to keep the seats warm and keep the show on schedule until he came in and was able to take the reins back from the hot mess that we were putting together last night. But thank you again. And remember, all of these shows you can catch on replay. So if you missed either one of these shows, you can go back to our YouTube channel and Indie Comics Network, and you can watch the show from Saturday or from Sunday and Sunday. Watch them both,
Yeah, right. And thank everybody for constantly tuning in. You guys are phenomenal. We have outstanding views for the size of our network.
Yeah, really.
I'm really excited, and it makes me happy that you guys keep coming back for our content.
Right. No, absolutely. It's like, obviously you guys are liking what we're doing, and we have no idea what we're doing. So we're glad we're liking it regardless.
We're winging it, folks.
Yeah, we really are. We really are. We keep talking about the science and whatnot of the algorithm, but honestly, with these vlogs, we just literally do what we feel like.
We're making this shit up as we go.
I know.
But if you have a comment or suggestion,
oh yes, absolutely. If you have an idea for a topic you want us to talk about on the show, email us. Well, actually, you're emailing Nita at raginabc@gmail.com. And she'll take care of you, and and most likely we'll talk about it. I know we still owe Joe D an episode about what to do when you're not crowdfunding, but you still have a storefront to try. How do you get people to your storefront? And
right.
We still owe him that episode. So probably on next Friday, we'll do that.
And regardless of whether you're crowdfunding or using the storefront, how should you ship your shit?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Send your comics in style with your Gemini mailers, and even more in style. Save 10% by using our coupon code Ragin10. It's like, yeah, so yeah, we have a lot of cool things that we're planning on at the beginning of the year. So yeah, so Ragin10 Gemini mailer, send your stuff out, get it all in one piece, unless you have Nita's mail person.
And a lot of things will be changing after the first of the year, maybe
Uh-huh.
even before. But one thing that will remain is we will be keeping the Ragin10 coupon code, even
Yeah.
though the email and all the contact information will be updated.
Yeah.
And right now
yeah,
on
finally.
Kickstarter, go sign up for the Oswald Chronicles Volume 2, Passing
Yes.
Queens and Making Homes. Did I say
Oh,
that right?
yes,
I hope
you
I
did.
did.
Yes, you did, because I couldn't remember it yesterday.
Okay.
That's how
Okay.
out of it I was. Yes.
It's
And look,
J.D. Calderon's surprise Kickstarter that'll hit
yes,
us whenever he feels like it. Could be
right.
tonight, could be tomorrow,
Could be next
month.
week.
We don't know.
Oh, yeah, we don't know. We don't know. So make sure you sign up for the pre-launch page so you don't miss it when it finally goes live, because you know how it works.
And I got this one real quick.
Uh-huh.
The Legend of Sparkle Dog, Don't Say a Woo, is also available on Kickstarter. This is Chad Perkins' Abomination he did with Blake Matthias. Head over there and check it out. And speaking of Chad Perkins, tonight there will be a special episode of Shots with Comics. It is a pre-recorded episode. It's only like 40 minutes long. It's Chad and Kit reviewing a couple of horror comics or manga, and it is fucking hilarious. So tune in, and that also will only be available on indiecomicsnetwork.com.
Yeah, because Facebook definitely doesn't count that one.
No. Or next week. Oh my God, next
Right.
week's gonna be terrible.
Right. Well,
Terrible. Don't tune in next week.
Right.
No, totally tune in.
Totally. Totally. Oh my goodness. So Nita, you want to hear something stupid? It's like usually,
I love stupid.
We're talking about like very serious crowdfunding things and whatnot.
Uh-oh.
But I don't know. But today, actually, the other day, I saw something really stupid, and it's like it's just like it just made me roll my eyes. But it's like I just have to talk about it for a little bit. There we go. Thank you, Glenn. Yes. Yes. So yes. So if you had joined us on House of Bob, or if you haven't, I was talking about how yes, a certain marketing decision was made on behalf of Netflix.
Oh my gosh.
So if you don't know, so Henry Cavill is leaving The Witcher for season 4.
So The Witcher's over.
Yeah, so pretty much The Witcher is over. There's only 3 seasons. And they're going to be replacing him with baby-faced Liam Hemsworth, who I couldn't care less about. To tell you the truth. So like I said, so The Witcher is now only officially 3 seasons as far as I'm concerned. So Nita had shown me, she had tagged me in this joke post that somebody had posted on Facebook. Yes, and it says that the post was, apparently The Witcher was being watched by 100% only people thirsting for Henry. And I had posted the answer, no lies detected here, because pretty much that was it. I mean, I was telling Nita about like the whole phenomenon that it's like, look, Henry Cavill as an actor, it's like, I'm sure he's a nice guy or whatnot, but Henry Cavill as Geralt of Rivia, okay, now you have my attention, right? So like she says, like now I just have to settle watching House of the Dragon for all my grimy blonde needs. So, well, but that's not that. This is not the weird part, actually.
Oh, it's weirder.
This is actually not the weird part. So, of course, everyone's having a good yuck in the thread, right?
Right.
And then it's like into the internet being the internet. Let me see. Yes, the internet being the internet. There's always that one person.
Oh man, what'd they say?
That pops up that takes the shit so seriously that it's like, oh my God, bro. It's like, we found that guy.
The Great White Knight has arrived.
Yeah, we found that guy. So they posted people who claim to be fans only become toxic gatekeepers. I remember when Liam was the young guy in Sylvester Stallone's Expendables. I think he can pull it off. And I'm like going, bro, ain't nobody gatekeeping your ability to go watch season 4 of The Witcher, okay? Calm the fuck down. It's like, you know, all these horny women are not gatekeeping you from watching your Netflix shows, okay?
Oh my God.
You know, I mean, it's like, I was just going, it's like, holy shit, dude. It's like, you can literally tell this is one of these guys who's like constantly like angry all the time over bullshit, you know, where it's like, you know, they did this to Superman. They did this to Batman. They did this, and this, and they're ruining, and Namor is Hispanic, and, you know, it's like that type of thing, right?
Right.
You know, and it's like, holy fuck. I mean, do you guys
And who's toxic, bro?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's being toxic here. We're just having a goof. You know, and you had to come and try to ruin the vibe. You know, I mean, there's always that one person. And then it's like, it made me remember that gatekeeping is another word that I am banning everybody from using. No one is allowed to use the word gatekeeping anymore because we're putting it back on the top shelf because none of you know how to use it correctly. Bad fandom. You don't know how to use, you don't know how to take care of your words. You don't get to use them. You don't get to play with them, you know? You know? So yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like it was so unnecessary, right? So I looked up. So it's like, you know what? Okay, because like I said, gatekeeping is one of these words that I keep seeing, you know, abused, and it's like gatekeeping. Okay, like, what's a gatekeeper? An attendant at a gate, literally, who is employed to control. What happened? I missed it. Oh yes, I am gatekeeping the usage of gatekeeping. Yes, I am. Absolutely. It's like a person or a thing that controls access to something. Okay, so that's, you know, I think like that's kind of like the idea that the word is supposed to mean. Somebody who keeps you from something, right?
Right.
Now, here's the thing though. No, like I said, nobody is gatekeeping this guy from watching The Witcher. If
not being horny for Liam is not going to
yeah, exactly. That has nothing to do with his, you know, with obviously his impressive hard-on for Liam. Actually, that I'm using House of Bob language on this show. Maybe I shouldn't. We'll just Facebook ignore this. Right? So you know, it's like, okay, fine. It's like, you know. It has, and also here's the thing too, right? It's like, just because I have a superficial like for The Witcher for that one reason doesn't make me less of a fan. You know, that's the thing, the whole idea, because it's like also I think kind of like the implication that I was getting out of this thing as well, because I'm sure this person must have used this phrase a lot too. You're a fake fan. You're not a fan of The Witcher. You're a fan, you know, you're a fake fan. And I'm like, you know, it's like, you know what? You. You know, and two, it's like, who cares?
Right.
You know, it's like, you know what? It's like, this was the reason. It's like, you know what? The show, it was aesthetically pleasing for me to watch. You know,
it made it better.
Yeah, you know, that made it better. I enjoyed the show because of it. And now that they're removing my aesthetics, I don't need to watch it anymore. It saves me a lot of time, honestly. Right. You know, I mean, it's like kind of like, you know, House of Dragon. Very, very aesthetic. Very aesthetic. You know? You know, but honestly, it's like, so here's like kind of the opposite. The Doctor Who guy, I don't know who the heck he is. I really don't. And honestly, I don't care. It's like, you know,
Matt Smith.
But the thing is, though, is that
guys are cool.
You know, he shows up in the show, and I'm like, who is this guy? Who's inbred Legolas right there? Who is he? You know? Who is he?
Way to go, Daphne. Way to go.
And then it's like Jose goes, don't you know he's kind of like, he looks more like Elric of Melonbone. You know, it's like, all right, fine. I'll call him. Oh, there we go.
Shit, I can't even pull it off. Oh my god.
Oh, look at that. The bots are back. Look
Mm.
who's back. Back again. So Nina's gonna be busy for a little bit.
No, I pulled them off, but the problem is it's stuck on the screen.
It's stuck on the screen. Hold on, let me see.
See if you can pull it off.
No.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got an idea. Okay, there we go.
Okay,
All
there
right,
we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Problem
Joe
solved.
D's post saved the day. You know, so yes, it was just like,
Good morning, Patrick.
yeah, hey Patrick. Yes. So there's, you know, but the thing is though, is that House of the Dragon is a really, really good show. Even though I have only watched like 40 minutes of it collectively.
Oh my god, man.
It's
like get in the StreamYard and we'll work this out.
So it's like, so that's a really good show, you know. But the thing is though, enjoying that show doesn't make me any more of a fan of Game of Thrones. You know, as Henry Cavill being Geralt of Rivia, it makes me a fan of the Witcher. I mean, it's like, look, I'm just enjoying something. You know, it's like if you're the type that someone needs to pass a nerd SAT test in order to fit your criteria of what the true nerd is, I mean, I'm going to have to go all William Shatner on you and go get a life. You know, I mean, really, it's like, you know, I mean, that's the, can you put that on your resume? I mean, is that the extent of your accomplishments, being able to not, you know, to give me the summary for every fucking Superman book since the 40s? You know, I mean, it's like, really, nobody cares. Okay, just enjoy your shit. You if you're going to enjoy Liam, what's his face, you know, as
then just do it and stay out of a conversation.
Right, exactly. For the 4th season, then, you know, enjoy yourself. Okay. But this is the reason why I started watching The Witcher. And it's the reason why I'm going to stop watching The Witcher. It doesn't mean anything. Okay. So yeah. So if you find yourself getting hot under the collar because of this, go find an actual hobby. You know, that's all I can really say. You know, it's like, just let people enjoy things however they want to enjoy it. And yeah, and it's like, it just kind of move on. You know, nobody's gatekeeping shit. Okay. And it's like, you know, it's like, it's not like, yeah, it's like, now if Netflix realizes that after the 4th season that nobody's watching it, then, you know, okay, and they cancel it's like,
but that's not gatekeeping. That's you decided. We have a right. So what, we're supposed to be forced to watch something,
right?
So,
exactly.
So the minority can be happy if they end up canceling.
Exactly.
No, fuck you, man.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, look, and in the end, that's a Netflix issue, not a me issue. So,
and Netflix cancels shit when it's great anyway. Hello,
yeah, I know.
Age of Resistance.
Oh, Marco Polo. I've been salty ever since Marco Polo. So, you know, it's like, look, you know, you don't end on the Prester John, you know, cliffhanger and then just say, oh, canceled. Like, I hate you forever, Netflix.
Hey, my Jimmy.
Hey. So yeah, so that's so that was kind of like the stupid thing.
What cut? Yes, I can cut much deeper.
Right. Well, but then you wouldn't have a shirt left, so. You know,
we all saw my mistake from yesterday.
Well, you know,
combination of a shirt.
You know, well, it's like you have to wait for the summer again, and then you can bring it back out. You know. So yeah, so that was just kind of like a stupid. I mean, it was stupid, but the thing is, though, I thought that it was kind of indicative of a lot of like of a ridiculous attitude that I keep seeing. You know, it's like with people throwing around these words, and it's just like, it's just so, you know, meaningless, you know, in the grand scheme of things, and it's like, oh, you know, especially since they always seem to, these words only seem to come up under very specific circumstances, you know, targeted at very specific demographics. Right. So every time I hear that usage, I'm sus already. you know, as to the person who's using words, you know, like gatekeeping, you know, and all that. Oh, it's like, oh, this is woke. It's like, this is canceled. It's like, oh, it's like, I'm going to be canceled. It's like, yeah, no, top shelf. These words are going on the top shelf until you guys learn the actual definition of them.
That dude was still calling me the wokest in his chat the other day.
You know, like, it's like, no, you don't know what these words mean.
People, please.
You know, you don't know what they mean. It's like, I'm putting it right next to the word problematic. Right there. Right there. Nobody uses these words anymore. You know.
Seriously, Daphne.
What?
If you're gonna watch House of Dragon, watch it with me, please.
Right?
Oh my God! Please.
So we're gonna have to do a little watch party. That's like a watch it from the beginning. Because honestly, yeah, I probably would have to watch it with you, or else I'll never watch it.
You didn't think they could bring hotter girls than Daenerys, but they do. Oh my God!
Yeah, no, I mean it's very good casting. The entire it's very good casting.
We have a guest.
We do. Speaking of excellent casting, so we're going to show some love, and then we're going to come back and bring our guest in, and they're going to talk about their book, which is on Kickstarter right now. So Nita, take it away.
All right, then hold on. I got to bring the brand folder back up because I'm all like, you got me all like,
over. Right. Okay.
All right. Y'all ready for this?
Yes. Go ahead.
Let's go.
I used to think if I couldn't find hope, I should just let it all go. I used to think if I couldn't make dreams come true, I should just let them all go. When life seems impossible, look from a new angle, change just one little thing. When life feels intolerable, find your true source of love. Focus now, focus on love.
And we are back.
Hello. Good morning.
It's me. I'm on camera now.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There's no real way to warn people. It's
Yeah,
just
I
like,
know.
right,
It's
bro,
like you just
we
show
got
up
you
and
now.
that's it.
Yeah, I was like, all right, the video's playing. I better be prepared.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You know, and I have to say though, I really, really do like that video. You know, I like the way it's edited, the choice of music, the whole, I mean, I gotta up my game, really.
Yeah, you
really
do. Yeah, you do. Bring it, Lage.
Right. But before we get into that, tell the peoples who you are. Introduce yourself.
I'm Matta Sorcier, or I go by M Sorcier professionally because it's just easier, I guess. I'm a self-taught artist and writer from New York, and I do Sacrimony, A Tale of Love, Life, and Death in no particular order.
All right. No, that's a great title, to tell you the truth.
Thanks.
I mean, yeah. So really quick about that video though. So did you do that video?
Yes, I did.
Right.
I-
Did you do the music?
I did not do the music.
Okay,
I lucked out with finding like a royalty-free thing that just kind of like perfectly summed up the story.
Really, it really did. Because I was like going, did she do this herself? Did she write that
Right,
song?
right.
No, I'm not that proficient or
Right.
that talented. Like
Okay.
I just draw and write. That's it.
There you go. Oh, you just do just that. They're just old hat
yeah.
stuff, right?
And letter and stuff. I
Right.
made my own fonts too, but like I'm not going so far as to make my own music. That's a step too far.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like for me, it's like making VTubers. It's like, no, I'll pay somebody for that.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. So is this your first campaign? Because actually you have 5 issues out.
Yep.
Already. So before we get to those 5 issues, it's like, so what started you on this trajectory to independent comics?
My goodness, I don't even. How do I answer that? It's such a weird ride because I'm like I've pretty much been thinking of this story since I was 12 years old, which is like 25 years ago. But it's one of those things where it's like, you know how you have that kind of like childhood story that you like sometimes you pay attention to it, sometimes you're like, oh, I'll probably grow out of this, and then you actually never do.
Exactly.
And
That's like
go
that's
ahead.
like a lot of that's a lot of people, but me especially too. But go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like it was a weird ride because I didn't know if I wanted to do comics or what I wanted to do with it for the longest time. And I think I was like heavily influenced by like RPGs and stuff. So I was like, oh, maybe I want to make a game, maybe I want to do this, because it was like at that time comics wasn't what it is now. It's just it was just like, all right, here's like guys in spandex punching each other, and like I wasn't really here for that.
Right. I'm assuming this is more like the 90s image, background radiation of the time, or like how, without without mentioning years, like what was the comics that kind of caught your attention?
The comics that actually did catch my attention were at first manga, like because I was like, oh man, this is so different. Like there's like fantasy story and there's like, guys wielding swords the size of a minivan, and I'm like, I'm here for that.
Right.
And then I got into Sandman, and then I was like, oh wow, Western comics don't have to be like, guys in spandex punching each other. This is really cool. Like, there's gods sitting around like being assholes, and like I do that. I could make a comic about that.
Yeah, no, that's always fun. But was there like one particular, because usually everybody has like that one comic that goes, that's it, that this like that goes, I want to do this.
For me, it was probably Sandman, because I grew up with like a weird variety of stuff. Like I read Johnny the Homicidal Maniac at an age where I probably shouldn't have been reading Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. And like that kind of influenced me, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I want to do a comic about like, a character killing people. Like Sacrimony went through a lot of different like, incarnations, I guess. I was like, at first it's like, oh, it's gonna be this super edgy thing, like more like manga with like, people with big swords hitting each other. And then I was like, no, maybe it should be about this one character like stabbing people or something. And like eventually it became what it was through the force of sheer will and a lot of spite.
Right.
A lot of spite.
I'm fueled by spite myself.
Yeah, I feel like we all are. Like, if you're like a woman or just not a straight white dude in the comics world, you're kind of just always fueled by spite.
Well, I mean, there is kind of like, there is kind of like that thing where it's like, like we were talking about before about, you're a fake fan. Or something. Right. And it's like, no, we actually enjoy what we do. It doesn't matter how we enjoy it as long as we enjoy it.
Right.
So when you did you always start off as drawer? So Sandman was the big book that inspired you to do this. So were you always kind of like experimenting with doing comics up until that point? Or did you kind of like really like, okay, I'm going to do this, as opposed to like you said, an RGB, RPG. No, RPG. RGB is Photoshop. I have Photoshop on the brain. So yeah, as a role playing game.
Oh man, now I lost track of the question. I'm sorry. My attention span is.
No, it's okay. So actually drawing the comic. So when did you finally commit to, okay, this is how it's going to be?
I tried it a lot, and I started over because I couldn't like figure out how to begin, and also like I wasn't very good at drawing comics, even though it was something that I did mostly in class in high school and college. Like that's how I spent my class time. But yeah, it's that I penciled a lot of pages, but I never inked or finished them or properly lettered them. So like when I actually had to jump in and do things like super seriously, it was really rough. Like I started Sacrimony in like 2016 actually, and people are only now hearing about it.
Right, yeah.
Of like that's how things work, I guess. But when I started it in 2016, it was like completely different. It was kind of like a beta test, I guess, because like the art was rough, the writing was rough. I got a lot of feedback. I went back and looked at things and I was like, no, you know what? I can do this better. So after drawing like almost 300 pages, I'm like, you know what?
Whoa.
I'm gonna start it over in like 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, it's this is what like normal sane people do, right?
Yes.
At least well, you're asking the wrong people.
It depends on what you consider normal sane people
are.
In this room, yes.
In this room, that's perfectly acceptable.
Yes, but I mean, but still though, because the thing is, so you have 5 issues out right now, but the thing is, so just the fact that you did 300 pages before you even got to those 5 issues is incredibly impressive. Like I said, I've been doing this since 1992, and I always talk about how our road is littered with the bodies of people who never make it past their first issue.
Absolutely. It's so wild, and it's like you kind of think that maybe if they were able to keep it up, like they could go farther, because like I've had like 5 books out already, and it's only now that people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh, hey, where has this been all my life?" Like
Right.
I started like kickstarting the remastered version of Sacrimony in 2021, and now it's like people are like, "Oh, hey, where has this been?" I'm like, "It's been here. You just
Right.
never saw it."
Now, those previous pages, were you putting them online, like on
Yes.
a website, or that's
Yep.
where these 300 pages were going
Yeah,
first?
it was a webcomic at first. And you know what? The thing is, I realized that people who read webcomics don't actually buy anything.
Yeah.
It's like, why am I doing this? Like, what
Right.
is the point? It's like, okay, I'm making like $30 on Patreon for like, you know, it probably takes me anywhere from like 7 to 15 hours per
Yeah.
page. And then I was updating like twice a week, and I was like,
Right.
what? Why am I
Wow.
doing this to myself?
Yeah, yeah. That's that point where we all go. Well, at least I went through that same thing too, where we kind of had to like reevaluate kind of everything.
Like every
That
single life
yeah,
choice up until that
yeah,
point,
exactly.
basically.
So okay, so you have like these 300 pages, right? And you decide, okay, I'm going to remaster it to do issue 1, and I'm going to start the series over again. How much of the original 300 pages did you keep? And like, or did you literally do everything over again?
I literally did everything over.
Oh.
I improved the writing. I expanded on a lot of things that like I didn't in the original webcomic version, because like I was like in the beginning, oh my god, I got to move this story really fast. I got to cut out like all of these like conversations and stuff that I wanted to add in, and I realized that I was like fucking myself over, because like those conversations are what actually makes the story. So I was like,
Right.
so the first 5 issues are like chapter 1, which the original chapter 1 was like 89 pages, and now my expanded version is like over 150 pages. So I added in like a lot of new content.
But that's but you took out so much as well. So it's like kind of like you started putting the puzzle back together again differently.
I don't think I left anything out in particular, actually. I think I just added more stuff in there. Yeah, it was just like this needs more. Like it needs more character interactions. It needs more of like, because the characters are really the core of the story. It's not like, all right, well, these people are gathering together to save the world from evil. It's more of like you're watching these people struggle, like extraordinary people struggling with like everyday life things.
Right. Yeah,
so
that was the thing that I found fascinating about the book, because our very own Joe D. McPhee in the chat, he actually reviewed your book, and it was actually the first time that I heard of it. And I was hearing him talking about it, and I go, wait a minute, I'm confused. Is this a fantasy story? You know, it's like, because it's a fantasy world, a very expansive fantasy world. And then it's like when Nita started promoting your book and the more of these images started popping up, I was actually really getting even more confused, because it was this fantasy story, but the story was so down to earth.
It's so real.
Literally, it like the story is very like, you know, like kind of like outside my door type of story, but it was with so what made you write this type of story in the setting that you chose?
I think it's because I always find stories like more like human-centered stories relatable, instead of like, all right, like, you know, let's gather together and save the world type thing.
Yeah.
Like it sounds so stupid, but like my hobbies are like psychology and sociology, so I'm always yeah, that explains everything. So yeah, I'm always reading some weird like, you know, sociology or psychology thing, and so it's the thing that fascinates me of like what makes people tick. And you don't get that in like action adventure stories. You're just gonna get like, all right, this guy defeated the bad guy. All right, he got the girl, like he won, whatever. But what interests me always is more of like character dynamics, like little weird quirks and stuff that keep like running throughout the story, and just like yeah, just what makes people tick. I find that more fascinating than like, all right, let's fight something.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. That's the type of story that I'm always interested in. That's why like the superhero genre does nothing for me, because it's like it's just like, oh, save the world, the big, Avengers spin, camera spin, and it's like, okay, this is doing nothing for me. It's
right,
like,
and it's like, all right, now you have like the eater of gods, and then the eater of gods, and all
and then
sorts of
it's
stuff,
like,
and like it's like 17 crossover events, and I'm just like, I'm not here for any of this. First
right,
of all,
yeah.
I don't have the money for this, I don't have the time for this, and I'm not emotionally invested in it to
No,
begin with.
really. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like the closer, it's like, it's kind of like the closer we write to, like you said, to human, like the more people can relate to it. So why don't we bring up the
Right,
campaign just to show it, and also it's like, so you can actually talk about like what I'm talking about here. So what is, like, you look at this thumbnail. I mean, this beautiful thumbnail, but tell us what the story is that goes with it.
So the story is basically a teenage girl has died, but she got better. And as with mysterious resurrection stories, there's a catch. The catch is she has no memory of her past, no idea why she has magical powers or why she has demon wings that she now has to hide from society. And her mom is the only one who can kind of sort of answer those questions, but right now she would just like rather not. She's kind of focused on like fleeing the past as far as possible and trying to pretend that nothing weird happened, and also like holding down a full-time job to take care of herself and her kid.
Right. And not only that, but she's kind of like, she's going through this whole immigrant journey as well.
Yep.
Where it's like there was like this whole scene that Joe was talking about, where it's like, she has to, they're trying to get into a city and she has to show her papers, and now it's like they're worried about, okay, where are we going to live? How are we going to make money? And it's like, but they look like that. Like I said, I was very confused. It's like I don't know, like for some reason it's like you kind of like, it's like you went all in on both sides. It's like you went all in on the fantasy, but went all in on the realism as well.
Yeah, it's
Right.
people are always surprised because I mean they see like all of the pretty art and stuff and they think
Right.
it's going to be like this really like melodramatic high fantasy sort of slog.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is going to be hard to get through. I'm pretty sure like, the creator thinks so highly of themselves, and it's like, it probably looks like the most pretentious comic ever, but like I live in the Bronx. I live across the street from like a crack house. There's not a pretentious bone in my body. So like it's down to earth. That's probably the best way to say it, is like it's a very down to earth story. Like sometimes it's incredibly funny, sometimes there's toilet humor, and like
Right.
but you just get it in like a pretty fantasy packaging.
Right. I mean, and do you find that people like are more accepting of the story because it's in a very fantasy setting, as opposed to if you had done like a very straightforward story about an immigrant mother trying to make it in, I don't know, the New York,
right,
or
in
something.
New York.
Yeah.
I think the fantasy setting just adds another layer of like something for the reader to be interested in, because I mean, we've all seen stories about like immigrants coming to New York and like what that could potentially be like. But then it's like, all right, well, you have like all of these weird races to learn about, all of this history, all of these like completely asshole gods to learn about, and it just adds another layer of like something to be interested in.
Mm-hmm. Now you have, so this is for the crowdfunder. The Kickstarter is for issues 1 through 5. Like I said, congratulations on making it that far.
Thank you. I don't know how. I don't even know how I drew all these goddamn pages. To be honest, I'm like I drew 150 pages since like 2020. It's so...
it just happens one day. That's what it is.
Like the brain just switches off, it goes into autopilot, and then just like pages happen.
Yeah, exactly. And then before you know, it's like, oh, I got to do something with this.
Yep.
So how many issues do you see this series being?
I always joke that like Sacrimony is like adopting a pet parrot where you're stuck with it for the next 50 years, like for better or worse.
Yeah, over here. If you hear weird noises, he's over here.
Yeah. Just like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be a long story. I know exactly how it's gonna end, but it's gonna take me a while to get to that point, because it's clearly a story that's gonna follow these characters around throughout the course of their lives. Like Kajad, the main character, who's the teenage girl, you're gonna watch her grow up. You're gonna see like the kinds of things she goes through as like a demon winged girl, and like how different sides of the spectrum treat her. Like, like different religions and whatever, you'll see like they have different reactions to her. And it's going to be a wild, incredibly weird ride. So I hope people are on board with it.
Right. So usually by issue 5 as well, a lot of other publishers, they do trade paperback. So is that something you're also thinking of doing?
Yep. February.
Oh, there we go. So February. So I mean, I know Nita hates it when I talk about trade paperbacks.
Don't do it ahead of time. Are you kidding me? She's live. Shut up.
It's no secret anymore. I've been talking about it since like book 4, so it's okay. Like people keep asking because they're like, you have so much story, like you have 150 pages. What are you doing with it? I'm like, yes, I will put it all in a gigantic book. And actually, for the trade paperback, I want to do extra things like little bonus scenes that I couldn't fit into single issues. I want to do like. I love doing Q&A comics, so if anybody has any like weird questions, I will absolutely like take those questions and answer them in comic form. Yes, hell yes. Like as a brown woman in comics, I am just full of spite. Like it's the only thing keeping me going. It's like, oh, are you offended by my like people of color characters? Here, have more of them.
Right, exactly. It's like do more of the thing they don't like.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like, is this causing you pain? Oh, here, have some more.
Right. It's like, go watch The Witcher season 4 with Liam Hemsworth. Go do that instead.
Oh no. Oh dear.
I don't know if you were listening to our.
I didn't catch that part of it.
Oh no, we were just kind of goofing on a guy.
Daphne's on a tangent because they took her boyfriend away.
Well, they switched Henry Cavill. He's not playing The Witcher anymore, and some guy.
Okay, so like, why watch it? Like, I don't know.
Thank you.
And dude was trying to say that the fandom was toxic and women were gatekeeping. And it's like, I don't think you know what that word means, motherfucker.
You know, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was just so we were just goofing on that post.
My
so
goodness.
We're forced to look at this other dude that we weren't like,
Right. It's like, bro, it's like it's okay. You can watch Liam Hemsworth if you like him. It's like the rest of us.
You and like 2 other people can watch him.
Right, exactly. See, so that's what's normal here.
Okay,
right,
excellent.
Yes, exactly. So this is, but the thing is though, have you done campaigns for all 5 issues?
Yep. This is actually my 6th campaign in 2 years. I don't know how I'm alive.
I am always on Kickstarter day in and day out. And this is like up until you contacted me, I was like, how did I miss this?
Well, I mean, it's like
everything is right up my alley. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like Kickstarter usually has about 5,000 projects a day.
But I fucking live on that shit, researching and stuff, and it's like, how in the hell did I miss you for so long?
I blame the algorithm, I guess, because they're always like, oh, here's a recommended project. Here's a thing that's like 1,000% funded at like $50,000. I'm sure you want to back this, like
right. Well, unfortunately, so from your first Kickstarter to the one that you're doing now. What's kind of like the like a main lesson that you learned doing these crowdfunders?
Oh man, what is the main lesson? That is,
was there something different from issue 1 to issue 5 that's like, it's like you're kind of like you feel like you're getting the hang of it or something like
honestly, the lesson is it never gets easier.
Okay, that
makes any sense. Yes, it's like every campaign has done better than the last, because it's like when I did book 1, I had like 98 backers, book 2 had like 121, and then there's like 132 or something, then I went up to like 154, and I'm like, can I beat that? Like have I plateaued? Like have I like run my course? Is this the best I'm ever gonna do? And then it's like it's refreshing to see that I got up to like 128 by now, which the campaign's only been live for a week.
Right.
Like I'm seeing like the last time it took me like 19 days to get to 128 backers. So I'm like, okay, it does get better. It still doesn't get easier mentally. Because I mean, next time when I'm doing like, the trade paperback or book 6 or whatever, I'm going to be like, oh my God, like was the last campaign the best one I've ever done? Or like,
so pretty much, yeah. Just to comfort you, that's exactly the trajectory that happens because that's where I'm at right now too. It's like, oh my God, is my previous campaign the best one that I did? Is this next one that's going to come up next week going to completely tank?
You know, have not
like,
peaked, Daphne. One more.
So it's like I'm always like this.
Yeah, because you know, by the time I was like at book 3, I was like freaking out, you know, having this sort of moment of like, this doesn't get easier, and I'm like, will it ever get easier? And now I'm like, no, you know what? It'll never get easier, and that's normal, and I'm okay with that. So like, I can just keep going without curling up into a ball and screaming.
Now because you have the epic, I guess, story, that do you think that not having an exact issue number might be a detriment to people? You know, where it's like, well, you don't know, you know, like you don't know where it's going to end, so how far should I take the support of it? I mean, it's like, does that concern you sometimes?
I mean, it's how do I words this? I haven't had my second cup of coffee, so the brain is only operating at 30% as opposed to 40%. But I don't think it's a detriment, because it's like, I think if people enjoy the story, they're gonna want to keep backing it to see where it goes. And then it's like, all right, well, if people start falling off, then like, all right, it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't their cup of tea. So like, as long as I still get people who are like interested down the road at like issue 15 or 20 or whatever, like that, I'm fine with that. Like, I always
when
like
something's good, people don't want that shit to end.
Right.
Like if someone's really into it and then there's an ending and then they're just like, what do I do with my life now? Like, I've had moments like that where I finished really good stories and I'm just like, I'm empty inside now. Like,
right. It's like, oh, here's my closure, but damn.
You know, so I guess like this is, so I guess like from that answer, I can kind of like ascertain that it's like, no matter what happens, the story is happening regardless.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, because that's just how I've always been, like, by whatever means, the story is going to get told. And
okay, so let me ask you this, tagging on to Daphne's question. If you see that kind of like, not necessarily lack of interest, but the dying off, like people are moving on to other things, are you going to give the people who stuck with you a satisfactory ending? Will you go ahead and write that for them?
Yes.
Awesome.
Because for my own personal like satisfaction, I need to give myself closure with this too, because it's something that I was thinking about for so long. So to just stop it and not do anything with it, I feel like I couldn't live with myself.
Right. And also it's like, so is this like kind of like the story that really like kind of like just completely dominates your thought process, or do you see yourself? But do you see yourself?
So you live in that world?
Yes. So, but do you have like other stories that you're thinking like, oh, maybe I should do that, or another thing, or like it's just this all the time?
I have lots of other story ideas. It's just like, how do I clone myself to be able to do them?
Right. Now, here's the thing too. The story, the story for Sacrimony, it actually kind of like, because it seems it comes off as so vast and a lot of things going on. Sometimes it's like, did you ever think like, instead of doing it as a comic, doing it as a novel, you know, or parts of it, you know, it's because it kind of sounds like more like the type of stories that would work as a novel, you know, because you could do even more kind of like, I don't know, navel gazing, I guess.
Right.
Or more...
you can see more of the thought process behind the characters and like really get in their heads. It would be interesting, but I do like the visual aspect of comics.
Right.
And sometimes I like expressing things like visually through like a character's body language. So like instead of saying like, you know, Unica felt uncomfortable, like you can just show that like while someone's like awkwardly hugging her when she doesn't want to be hugged or whatever. And like it's that little extra bonus for the reader to pick up on, like, okay, this is super awkward, as opposed to having to describe the awkwardness.
So that's pretty much like, so this is like, you're more like a predominantly visual type of creator.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I kind of dabble in both, and it's like, and there's some stories that, like, for me, like, okay, it'll work better as a comic, but then there's some stories that's like, okay, this works better as a short story, and
I
I
get
kind
that.
of like go back and forth like that. But in the end, at the whole point is that they all come together as a whole.
Right.
The only difference is that I have yet to figure out whether people who read comics would read short stories and novels. So
That's always the hard part too, because
Yeah.
I have ideas for sort of like spin-offs or like, you know, character histories that I probably won't get the chance to tell in
Right.
comic, because everybody has like a backstory that has a
Right.
backstory and such. And like
Uh-huh.
I was thinking of doing it in the format of like prose, but with like illustrations
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
help like get through that and maybe
Right.
get more comics people into it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I also have lots of stories within the story itself. Like there's like this whole play that was like based off of a series of stories within the story, and like I have another character who's like super duper into romance novels, so like of course I have like his extensive romance novel collection like in my head, and I was like, I would really like to write those and do like, you know, these detailed illustrations and just make those like a whole other thing. But
Right.
I need to make like 7 of me. I don't know how to do
Right.
all of this
Yeah.
at
No,
once.
I completely understand the entire process
Like
here.
this is
So.
why I'm an insomniac.
No, I like my sleep. I like my sleep. So.
I like my sleep, but it doesn't like me. That's the problem.
Oh.
Like if I get a chance, I will sleep for like 12 hours if I can, but
Right.
like usually it's more like my brain is like, "Hey, listen. Hey,
Yeah.
listen. I got this idea." I'm like,
Right.
"No,
And then
stop it."
you wake up and you have 300 pages.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, that's how it
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. So there we go. Sacrimony is on Kickstarter right now. How many
18
days
days
does it
to
have?
go.
18 days to go. It hasn't
128 backers.
and but it hasn't funded
Phenomenal.
yet.
Nope.
But has it
Not
funded?
yet.
Not yet.
Not
Not yet.
yet, but
But
it will.
you'll do. Yeah. But 18 days. That's plenty of time.
Yeah, it'll get there.
Yeah, it'll get there.
But
So
you said don't clone your clone. It never works out.
yeah. No. It's yeah.
All right.
You end up with extra. Things.
Oh yeah, and
So-
they start getting all like gooey and melting,
yeah,
and
exactly.
I mean,
It doesn't
yeah.
work
yeah.
out, you know. So
No.
yeah, so links to Sacrimony is in the show notes below. So make sure you check that out. You have 18 days left, but you know what? Why wait? You know, support the book now. There's
Yes,
a
give
lot
me
going
peace
on
of
with
mind,
this.
please.
Yes, exactly. Peace of mind is important. You know, let's try to cure her insomnia so that the
Please.
second the campaign is over, she can pass out for 3 days.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much for coming on the show, and yeah, that's the parrot right there. So it's like, so thank you for coming on the show, and yeah, and we look forward to seeing more of this story unfold. Like I said, it's like, yeah, it's like you've been doing it for so long, and this is the first time, you know, we're seeing you, but it's like we definitely want to see more of your work.
Oh,
know,
you will
out
see
there.
more of
Yeah.
it. That's a threat.
There you go. It's a
I
threat
like
we
threat.
gladly take up the challenge for.
Yay.
You know? So Nita, do you have any final
No, I'm
thoughts?
good. I'm good. My
Right.
kids are starting to freak out.
Oh, okay. There we go. So yeah, so it's
I
so
think
in
the
the
parrot's
end, it's time for
bad.
us-
Wait a minute.
Yeah, so it's time for us to go anyway. So there we have it. Like I said, links in the show notes below. Thank you everybody in the chat for joining us. Thank you to the 7 people who are watching us right now probably from Facebook and Twitter. Like I said, if you really want to support the channel,
Yes,
come on
head over to
to
indiecomicsnetwork.com because people are stealing our shit.
Yes.
God
So
damn it.
yeah, we got to take care of that. So, but like I said, you know, it's like, make sure you come over to indiecomicsnetwork.com, make sure that we get the likes and the shares and all the algorithm stuff that we deserve. for
Yes.
this,
Touch
all
the
this hard
buttons 'cause
work.
women love that shit.
Yeah. So on that note, we will be back on Friday for another episode here at 11 a.m. Eastern. I will be back on Wednesday on my channel at 4 p.m. for another drawing live stream. So if you want to see more of my work and all my projects, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites. But I mostly post to Facebook if you're interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress and updates and all that. And again, here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, simulcasting through the Indie Comics Network. And also remember, you can read the first 5 issues of Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, in its original black and white format before you pick up all the remastered versions on Kickstarter starting next week.
When are you launching?
March. Monday, November 7th.
All right,
that's for
awesome.
my 5th issue. That's for my 5th issue.
Nice.
So, so at least, yeah, we're moving ahead. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link to Tall Tales, TAILS online.com, and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. So there we have it on this Monday morning. Happy Halloween, everybody. We're not done.
No. Matta, where can people find you?
Oh, that's right. Oh my goodness. Look at me being all selfish and stuff.
No, we just got distracted.
Yeah.
It's all good. Oh my god, where can people find me? I'm Matta Sorcier on Twitter and Instagram. That's MATTASORCIER at Twitter and Instagram. I also have a website that I never update at all, which is msorcier.com, which all one word. And you can find the Kickstarter if you want like a super handy quick link. It's sacrimony.com/Kickstarter.
There you go. I mean, I can't believe, but you know what? It's like I said, this is we did a show Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and today.
Yeah,
I'm a little out of sorts.
Week.
Oh my god! Yeah, how are you even conscious now?
Yeah, well, not in a couple of minutes.
Okay, valid.
So again, thank you so much for coming. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And for everybody else, remember the words of the ancients. Eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work, because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. It's like, why fake it when you can have 5 issues on Kickstarter right now? You know, it's like, really, you can't make this stuff up. Actually, you can, but so
you do. Actually,
yeah,
you do.
Right, yeah, exactly.
All right, you ready, Daphne?
I am ready. Let's get out of here.
All right, do not forget to tune in tonight for the pre-recorded episode of Shots with Comics with Kit Jaspering and Chad Perkins. They will be obnoxious and offensive and everything else everybody loves to hate us for. So we'll see you guys on Monday.